Image. There we go. I did
Image.
it.
Much congrats.
The Imaji movie.
Yeah.
Would that be better or worse than the Emoji movie?
The Imaji movie starring Imogen Poots. Imogen Poots. She's an actress.
Okay, I was like, I think I know an Imogen, but I think I only know the singer.
Something about Puss in Boots?
And Horton hears a hoot.
Yes, it's just an owl.
Morton hears a hoot.
Morton hears a hoot. It's just an owl.
I had to kill Bob Morton because he made a mistake.
Yeah.
And now it's time to erase that mistake. Cybersixers. Welcome to episode 63 of the Laser Comb Podcast, the show where we comb through random episodes of classic television with a fine-tooth laser. I am, as always, the Siege, one of your hosts.
And I am your other host, NeoCal.
And this week we have a guest on the podcast. She's been here before, but it's been a long time. Making her return to the show is, well, introduce yourself.
Hello, guys. I'm Christa. I'm very excited to be back, especially for this show. I'm very, very stoked about it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yes.
I think the last episode you were on was when we did Gravity Falls, so that would have been like a year and a half ago now.
Yeah. Oh, wow. God, time flies. I know. I've been in Maple Ridge for like almost a year. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've been in Nanaimo for almost a year. It's even crazier.
Fair. This is true.
I'm sure you're having a better time in Maple Ridge than I am in Nanaimo.
I did go see the D&D movie with my best friend from high school, and then 2 days later went for a walk with 3 of my other friends from high school. And nice. It was quite lovely. So I think I might be having a bit of a better time.
And you also got that giant popcorn D20.
I got the giant
movie
D20 popcorn bucket. It's so nice. It's in my car right now. I gotta build a holster for it so I can like wear it on my hip.
I actually just listened to
the most fashionable fanny pack.
Just a couple of hours ago I was listening to a review of that movie on a podcast, so it's funny that you bring it up.
Was it good? Did they
it was
say
mostly
good things?
Positive? Yeah,
good. I loved it.
I want to go see it.
One of the issues that they took with it is it's the people that make D&D what it is. Like, it's you and your friends that like really like make D&D what it is. So kind of just imprinting it onto a movie screen, like you kind of lose some of the magic of it. But they said
see the OG? Go ahead.
They still said it's a really fun and enjoyable like popcorn flick though.
Y'all ever see the OG Dungeons and Dragons?
I have, and they talked about it, and they said it was a dog shit movie, which I agree with, but they praised the exact same thing that I've always praised about that. The fact that Jeremy Irons is fucking hamming it up to the 10th degree in that movie.
Well, and that's not even the OG. If we're talking OG live action, but there is the OG D&D movie, which is the cartoon.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the cartoon,
which is referenced in the new film. It's very good. I will say, as someone who is in an actual play or numerous actual play live streams, I think that the community at large has taken to consuming D&D more than playing.
Yeah, isn't that strange?
Mm-hmm. And
at least
like half the people in our more than half the people in our Discord, we have like 300 people in our Discord, and like almost every single one of them is like, yeah, I never get to play, so I just watch it.
We have about not even 10% of that in our Discord.
We've been going for a while longer, to be fair. And to be fair, a lot of them join up and then are like, I need a group. okay, bye, and then never come again.
And then just never post, never comment on
Exactly,
anything.
and then just we have a solid like 20 or 30 people that are like the
Yeah, I'm
constant
starting to see
commenters.
the regulars.
You see the regs, yeah, exactly.
In the Lasercomb
But yes.
Discord, we may only have a couple of dozen or so users, but you interact, and we love you.
Exactly.
A couple dozen? I thought you were just going to say a couple.
You're all amazing. Good job, guys.
It's like Heinrad and Ranger.
Shout out to you guys.
Yeah. So what let's talk about our show.
All right.
Excited.
You may have noticed if you're watching us on Les YouTubes that we are covering Les Cybersix. I'm saying it in a French, but it's Spanish origin.
Argentinian.
That is true.
Yes, so it's based on, it's a Canadian / Argentinian / Japanese like co-production based on
Wild.
I know, right? Based on a Argentinian comic book called Cybersix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, comic that came out in the early-ish 90s.
Yeah. And then it was done in Japan, but it was a Vancouver-based production company.
Yeah, it's
something like that. I was reading up. I was like looking up the actors.
I just looked it up a little while ago, and it's a rabbit hole. Yeah, so it
is.
So
it's
for a little
Canadian, go ahead.
A little bit of backstory about why Christa is here is because when I was first talking about the concept behind this podcast, like covering like old cartoons, old TV shows, whatnot, and covering random episodes, before the show even launched, when I was just like brainstorming like the idea, Christa had mentioned, oh my God, you need to do Cybersix. And if you do Cybersix, I want to be on the show. Now, fast forward like 2 years later, we're finally doing Cybersix. So I reached out to Christa and was like, hey, do you want to be on the show? Yeah. Lo and behold. And the reason why we're talking about Cybersix is because recently Teletoon, Canadian animation channel, was recently rebranded as Cartoon Network USA. And myself and every other Canadian millennial on Twitter lamented about it at great length. And so we're continuing on with our programming block that I have called Rip in Peace Teletoon.
Yeah, we just did Captain Star.
And Donkey Kong Country, and I'm going to announce what the next one is at the end of the episode, so stay tuned. I haven't even told Cal what it's going to be.
Exciting.
I think he might have an idea.
So far, we've loved everything in the Teletoon, the Rip Teletoon.
Rip in Peace Teletoon. Rip in Peace.
Yeah. Yeah, Captain Star. Couldn't watch it as a kid. British, like, adult humor.
Yeah.
Right? It was like the adult version of Babar for me as a kid. But then when we watched it, I've never met a human being who liked Babar. If you're out there, comment, send us an email or something. Someone had to have watched it for it to have been on the air for that long.
I just had a brilliant idea, Cal. For like episode 100 of the Lasercomb podcast, we need to do an episode of Babar. For like a milestone episode, like episode 100 or like
a milestone episode. We're going to choose the thing that unanimously every single person that we've had guest star on the show has also hated.
Yes.
Not hated like, oh, it's so bad, oh, it makes me angry, but just like no one has been flipping the channel and went like, oh, a cartoon, well, there's nothing else on. Then again, an off TV is better. Like, nobody's left an entire episode of Babar on. Prove me wrong.
I think I have.
Did you?
I think I did.
What's the show about?
It's about the Babar who like runs an estate, and he's like some like lordly type elephant, and
okay,
it's like
so you remember he's an elephant,
and the towns, and and he wasn't there. He had a daughter.
They're in like a mansion or something.
They lived in a big mansion, and they had a butler that had tiny glasses and was also an elephant.
Okay.
Um,
That just
now
unlocked
to
a memory for me.
Me too, actually.
right? Okay, see? And now to be fair, asking me to remember anything, this show we're supposed to be talking about was like one of my favorite shows ever, and I have so many fond memories of it. I couldn't tell you a single thing about it. I started watching more episodes of it and I was like, I don't remember any of this, but I love this show.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
so to get back into
TBD about the whole TBD about the whole
TBD.
Babar thing, but
Yes.
I think it'll happen someday.
You'll have to have me back and I'll defend Babar.
All right, it's a deal. All right, I'm gonna leave the I'm gonna open the discussion up here back onto Cybersix, the topic at hand. Now, dear co-hosts, pretend I've never seen Cybersix before, and because I totally 100% have. I absolutely used to watch this back in the 90s. Yes, sir. So maybe maybe not even for me. Maybe for the listeners out there. Maybe fill me, or I mean them, in on just what the hell this show is about.
Okay.
a
Well,
good
basically, a Nazi escapes war crimes from World War II and goes to
How
Brazil,
all
like
good
many of
90s
them.
cartoons start.
How all good, wholesome 90s cartoons start, and escapes to Brazil, where it is actually known many Nazi sympathizers were given separate identities and given a pension to come hang out. And one of them decides to, just keep going about his experiments on people. And he calls them like, Cyber 1 through 69 or like whatever, right? Nice. And, there's like Cybersix, which is the character we have here. And I think Cyber 29, is a boy that's been genetically engineered on or injured. And so it's just like, ooh, why not put his brain in a panther? And other Nazi horrendous stuff like that.
Yeah, Data 7.
Data 7. He's a cat. And some of
and
them
her
got
brother,
away.
right? They were like siblings beforehand.
Okay, so they say siblings, but it's kind of like how kids growing up in a foster home are siblings. They're not actually related,
really?
but in the cartoon, she does refer to him as her brother.
Can I tell you what my takeaway watching this episode
from this single episode
with no context after I've just given you the
Can I give you a quick summary of what I think this show is about?
I would love to hear your take on what it's about. I should have asked you first without giving you the background.
Okay, so Egon from Ghostbusters and his best bud Eddie Brock from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Are
yeah. The younger years.
Are best buds
at a university.
At a school. There is a really annoying. There was a really annoying child who decides to throw a robot circus. So Egon turns into Goth Carmen Sandiego and saves the day.
While
yes, correct.
While Eddie Brock feebly attempts to do hero things and is saved by Cybersix repeatedly.
Oh, and Shadow Panther from Beast Wars. Right.
And Shadow Panther's in there of course. Special agent
well, and you forgot that it's Goth Carmen Sandiego who stole Spawn's cape.
Goth Carmen Sandiego. And yeah. I mean, here's the thing.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not. So you're sort of wrong. So Cybersix escapes, right? And she meets like an orphan. Don't worry about it. Not important. And she relates to the downtrodden and the orphaned or whatever. And she uses her. Apparently, you can just make up a new identity. Welcome to Brazil or Argentina, I guess, people. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to be a teacher and also a dude. They'll cover up and like the chest binding. There are even like scenes where you see like the chest binding thing where like she's almost caught, right? And she changes her voice a bit and takes on the name Adrian. So during night, she hunts down the ex-Nazis. Like, it's kind of presented in this cartoon because, you know, like you don't want Nazi atrocities. You need your Nazi atrocities to be digestible. So it's presented as her fighting.
Literally in this case.
It's presented as her her fighting. It's very different than the comic, folks. Her fighting Dr. von Richter, you know, in case you weren't sure he was a Nazi. His clone, aka his son, Jose.
Yeah.
Jose has an infinite budget to just fuck around. Just fuck around and do evil shit, and is given infinite money for his hijinks. Did you see the production value of the circus that comes in the second half of this? Good thing they have all of those zombies. Oh, it doesn't really touch on these. So they're called fixed ideas.
Is that
okay? That's what I thought. Yeah.
Is that his like buddy
the Frankenstein
in the sewer that looks like Tombstone from Spider-Man?
Yes.
Yes.
So
there are many of them.
There are many of them. And early on in the series, do you remember how she like Hitman 47's one of them and drags him behind boxes? And then he deflates?
Yeah,
Were you confused?
I was very.
Okay.
Okay, let's just get started covering the like going through the episode.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, anyways, she eats their essence so she can continue living with her superpowers.
Oh.
But don't worry, she doesn't vampire them. They squeeze into a little green vial that she then takes for herself.
That's how they are. That's just what they do. Anywho,
pops the capsule.
So okay, so let's go through the show from the beginning.
All right.
So there's another character at the very beginning that you're like, who's this bitch? And
oh, that bitch.
I know. I forget her name. Karen. I don't know. The redhead.
The redhead.
So she, I don't know at this point in the show, but she's one of Adrian's students. And she has like the biggest boner for him. And is like constantly interrupting class and like trying to like get Adrian to like go out with her.
Will like bend over and pull her skirt up a bit to like show leg or whatever. And here's the thing, it's like and Adrian's just like
face,
and it's like, so not.
I mean, when I first saw this character, I immediately was like, "Hello, Red."
Yes, exactly.
She's
such a bitch.
Okay, so there's a slutty redhead, and she wants to bang teachers.
Yeah,
and she wants to bang Adrian,
if you will.
Adrian, Cybersix, is in the precarious situation of having taken on a masculine persona, but they're a straight woman.
As far as we can tell,
as we can tell in the show, right?
Do we need to linger on that? Like, is it really all that
it's
important?
Not that it's to linger on it. It's not that it's important, but like, here's the thing. Even though it was geared towards kids, the show deals a lot with what gender is, why it doesn't matter, and like discovering how that connects to sexuality in the relationship between Adrian and Julian, or rather Cybersix and
not Julian.
Sorry, Lucas.
Lucas.
Jose. Julian is the orphan that we never see this episode. Sorry.
Yeah.
Lucas. Because Lucas finds himself Eddie Brock,
yes.
Finds himself attracted to Adrian and upset about it. But it's
very
because Mulan. It's Mulan, folks.
Yeah.
There we go. I don't need to say anymore. It's Mulan, and he's attracted, and indeed they do have a relationship.
Yes. Later on. Yeah, Cybersix and Lucas end up in a relationship, but like as you kind of see in this episode, it is very like they have tension in a way that like couples have tension that you wouldn't expect to see from two men. And throughout the series, it is definitely kind of this interesting, like you see Lucas like not really sure how he feels about Adrian, because he's like, I feel this way about, like, clearly I feel this way, and I'm connect, like he connects with Adrian on a level that is very like not straight. And
Yes, thank you.
yeah, but still like kind of goes with it and sort of like lets it happen. And I don't think they ever
There's
have a physical
no
relationship outside of like while he's Adrian.
yeah.
But it's still like, as a lot of people will cite this as a like, this was the first gender fluid character and first queer relationship I ever saw on television, because it kind of was.
I have heard that
It's
before,
hard to yeah. Yeah, right. And it's the thing is, she's, oh man, even when I was a kid, and I'm not aware of any of those symbolism, I think that's important. When people like something, and the point of the show, and I can argue about like what is pandering and what isn't, blah blah blah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like, man, this is just how you do it, right? And it's so shameless about it. Like when she's Cybersix at night, when she's off to go kill some tombstones and like drink their fluids. Her nails are long. She's got the fingerless gloves, right? The skin tight like latex, and fuck it, heels too. Like just fucking 6-inch heels.
Yeah.
They go up to the knees or connect to
you
your
don't even
bodysuit.
see where it breaks.
You
I feel
don't,
like it's
yeah.
one big bodysuit with the heels.
She lubes herself
Exactly.
up to squeeze into.
Got a powder
right?
in there.
Yeah. And it's unapologetic. Like it just is. But it's,
yeah.
I don't know. I felt like I don't know. I have like such fond memories of it.
It's done in a way, like even like if you're watching the YouTube and you see the picture behind Cal, like it's curve and it's like it's tight like latex, right? It's fully committed, but there is an aspect to it, like the cropped sleeve does still have a bit of kind of a male like rolled up sleeve kind of vibe, and it's not like she definitely
she's
has
not
boobs,
showing, yeah,
but there's no like cleavage, and so
she's thin.
it comes from, it's a very interesting turn that like not a lot of things, especially in the 90s and 2000s, had, where it has sex appeal and femininity without being like overtly
sexy.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like
and
she's
and
not
it
showing
is
anything off.
not showing leg. Yeah, and it's sexy, and it's, I know what you mean though. Like it's right, like there's no leg showing, even though she's like wearing heels or like whatever, but like,
yeah, there's no midriff, there's no
there. How dare you be in the 90s and not have midriff? Right?
Yes. There was a lot of interesting things in this show that was a very interesting look at
short
gender.
hair.
Yeah, the right? Cropped hair. I love the flip. Like, God, the amount of gel to get I've
been trying, as everyone knows.
You might be able to, yeah.
Maybe I could like straighten it, cut it, and
there
then
you go.
I could probably
you gotta do the Adrian,
cosplay
the flip up.
Oh right, because when they're Adrian, they go up.
Yeah, they have this crazy flip.
That's one of the reasons why I was calling him Egon. Was that between the like round glasses? That's like Egon Spangler.
Because the back and the sides of their hair are short, and then their hair's like flipped up.
Big
when they're
Egon
Adrian.
energy for sure. Yeah. So yeah, it is very. I do. Yeah. Anyway, this character that is introduced at the beginning, again with this one episode, you don't see her in, I guess, the rest of it really. But I do appreciate that, like, Adrian immediately is like, that's fucking Jose. Like, there's no question about it. It's like, that's fucking Jose with a mustache.
So we get a Jesse and James from Pokemon vibe from Jose. It's like if you made a Nazi like 10 and gave him infinite money, what would he
just Meowth left to his own devices?
Right? And like he goes up and he's like, what is this? Because there's a giant poster.
Yes.
Right? And they push past everybody, and it's just like, this is
Well,
stupid.
I feel like the introduction to him where he's talking to his dad happens before this scene.
It does.
We jumped several minutes into the episode.
I'm so sorry. Yes. let's talk about Jose. What's your take on Jose, Christopher?
What's your take on Jose and the horror intro as the light pans past his like horrific animals? I think there's almost a tachikoma, like I feel like there's appreciation for Ghost in the Shell in this show.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
The transhumanism and the machines being alive, and what is the soul? Like is Data 7 still a human soul if it's just the brain of a human child? So
well, and even in Ghost in the Shell, like the notion of gender had been explored with the brain of Major Kusanagi like being put into new bodies like on the regular. They don't go into that into the anime, the show, very much, but they go into it in the manga and into the movies a bit.
In the anime, there's one little thing where it's like Specs, the eye guy, I can't remember right now. He's
Otto.
like, thank you. He's like, Major, like, how come you chose like a feminine like body? And she's like, oh, it puts like men at a disadvantage, and they hesitate. And he's like, no, it doesn't. And he's like, try to hit me. And he's like, oh, I can't. And she's like, exactly. It's corny, but that's the that's the one time in the anime they bring it up.
So we meet Small Fry in his lab of mechanical doohickeys.
How fast did you hate him?
Immediately.
Mission accomplished.
He gets a like communique from apparently who is supposed to be his dad, and he's talking about how he's like built all of these machines or something and wants to like actually like put them,
but
like
Dad,
use them and put them to the
kill
test.
the hot lady that roams around at night in latex.
And he's all like, shut up, son, there's plenty of time for that.
Thank God they didn't give him a German accent. I mean, they are straight up Nazis, like without actually having to fly the symbol. They literally are.
I think that if I remember correctly, the kid is like excited about these robo dogs or something.
Those dogs are just evil dogs, by the way. It's the other things that are robots. Those dogs are real dogs.
He's excited about the robo octopus.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he activates it and it attacks him.
A little foreshadowing. The foreshadowing of, it's hard to control these things. Ooh.
And I'm like, but they're just robots, bro.
And so his dad tells him that there's like basically there's plenty of time to wait, like to put this plan into motion, and patience is a virtue, and evil never sleeps, and
eat your vegetables and
keep your grades up.
Keep your grades up. If you want to be a doctor like mine. Thank God I didn't do that.
And then him and his like tombstone motherfucker and these I'm just gonna keep calling them Robodog.
Yeah.
Sure. and these Robodogs.
You can tell they're evil because they have the black mask and red eyes, they're like
fixed idea dogs. Is I believe what they were called.
Yeah.
Fixed idea dogs.
So the big Frankensteins and those dogs, whenever something has a black mask and red eyes, they're not actual humans, so you don't have to feel bad about killing them. In the cartoon, that is, they are people in the comics. They're fixed ideas, which means they don't have creativity, they can't think for themselves.
It's just like in the Ninja Turtles cartoon, they made the Foot Clan robots, whereas in the comic and in the live action movies, they're just people.
They're just dudes. Yeah.
They get fucking killed.
That's a good point. Actually, yeah. Oh, and even they turn into vials of ooze when they're
Yes. So the fixed idea dogs, or the robo dogs, are off hunting.
The fixie dogs.
It's like
fixie dogs. I like that.
Fixie dogs.
And it's like, here, boy, smell Data 7. And for Chris, I'm watching this and I'm like, Christopher must be like, what? Smell this data. Smell this USB. Come on, go get him. And so he goes into the sewers with with the dogs.
Well, when he said Data 7, I immediately assumed that it was like Cybersix's sidekick of some sort. And when it was like a
You are
little thing
correct.
with a hair in it, I'm like, oh, this must be her like pet dog or something. But then
Oh,
no, it turns out that no, then it turns out it's Shadow Panther. And I'm like,
yeah,
hey,
Nice.
cool. I
even
like
better.
panthers. Yeah. Uh,
Operative
Oh,
Ravage.
yeah. And then they managed to find him and are like, haha, you're on the other side of a cage that this kid can clearly fit through. So, oh no, this is bad. But then Mega Snake.
oh
Right,
yeah,
he's
he
got a
gets
few
attacked.
robots.
He gets attacked by tentacle robots.
Yep.
Yeah, two-headed Robo Snake, and then they do end up capturing Data 7. Um, I thought that Data 7 lived in like a church tower with um Julian, the orphan kid,
Oh,
because they hang out
yeah.
together in
Maybe
the
that's the
cartoon.
is that the church tower in your background, Krista?
I don't
Ye
know. It probably
Might
is. It
be.
was
But there's an
generic
orphan that they kind
Meridiana.
of visit every now and then. And
Yeah.
Data 7 hangs out with the
You,
orphan
Julian.
because
Yeah.
you notice
having a
in the
pet panther doesn't really work in a society.
you notice in the you notice in the late 80s and early to mid 90s in particular, so many heroes hung out in like church towers with like fucking like statues of gargoyles and whatnot.
Spawn, the
Yep.
gargoyles themselves.
The Crow,
The
Real
Crow.
Daredevil.
gothic.
Like
Yep.
oh, it was
I
just
The
well, I,
such
I feel like that
goth
was the time.
goth noir. That's the genre.
Yes.
That's the period. Goth
And
noir.
and I think this was kind of the period where like the church was really starting to like lose their grip
well,
and people were starting to go, oh,
this was also the era of the rise of televangelism too.
yeah.
Oh no.
And
So the
actually,
slimy underbelly.
well, televangelism started getting really huge in the 80s and it well into the like late 90s. So I kind of wonder if the like gothic like religious architecture being like a becoming such a prominent like bit of iconography associated with like goth like anti-heroes. I wonder if that's kind of like a
Yeah, yeah.
almost like a subconscious like countercultural response.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
why there's
absolutely.
always that kind of imagery,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and has this all it's the abandoned, right? Because it's never a regular functioning church. It's an abandoned church. So this
Yeah.
Yeah.
idea of abandoned faith
Yeah.
and the abandonment of your community and all this kind of stuff. So it's people trying to retake those spaces for the good of their society, but from a place of darkness.
Look at our guest host coming on here with these.
I'm a lit major, okay? It's all I know.
This
No, I
this is
like
the
it.
most this is the most big brain episode of the Lasercomb podcast thus far. It's
And
usually
I
I
us.
like
do
that, taking back those abandoned
I would also
places.
like anyone listening on the podcast and not watching on YouTube, please appreciate the fact that I have pigtails, flower cat ears, and Easter earrings on, and glitter all over my face. So you can be adorable and smart. So there.
That's right.
That's right.
I'm the only one without glasses here.
Oh no.
Uh,
Uh,
Oh, I
oh,
need a monocle. I just
you're
don't
also
wanna.
the only one without earrings.
This is true.
Get out the
Here's
piercing
your ear
gun.
right now, Cal.
I have my left ear pierced.
Oh, there you go. You could have
I could
one.
just push it, push something through. You're not supposed to do that.
You're really
My
not.
mom
No.
always did that. Like
I
all
do
throughout.
that too.
Oh, I'm
You're not
gonna,
supposed to.
and you're not
I
supposed to because like blood vessels and the scar tissue, but
Builds up.
I
Gets
did that to my
crunchy.
lip when I was younger.
it
Yep.
healed over, and then you just forced
Yeah.
it through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of the early 90s, the classic well, the late 90s, I guess. Every goth slash emo kid from the late 90s all has that scar.
Yep.
Early 2000s. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
You just saw The Matrix, right?
Yep.
You just bought your first leather jacket. You're out of high school. Gonna get your lip pierced.
Got your round lensed Aussie shades on, or at least I did.
Yep. Anywho, we've
Rings on
captured
multiple fingers, which I still do into my
Still
late
do.
30s.
The Jaguar gets captured.
Yeah, poor Data 7 gets captured.
Yep.
Yeah, and from here, I believe we cut to the scene that we were talking about earlier
Yes.
outside the school, where we get introduced to Big Red, and Egon and Eddie Brock are looking at this like big billboard
poster.
type thing. Yeah, this billboard.
You'd
poster.
think this kid would not try to hide in plain sight. Like, do what a normal villain does. So basically, there's a giant poster.
Well, it's a trap. He's trying to
Yes.
lure Cybersix to this.
But
thing.
I mean, there's 100 ways of doing that without being discovered by the local authorities.
Without
that
putting
you're
on
genetically
without putting on a big like
and endangering
weird,
lives
robot circus.
And it was like, hey,
circus.
you're a clone of like your fundraising is a doctor from Germany. Maybe
hair
maybe
doctor, if you will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my god, can you imagine him replacing?
And right away, Adrian doesn't hide their like utter disdain because, like you said, it's Jose with like a big fake mustache.
Yeah,
it's Meowth. Yeah.
Yeah, and Eddie Brock is all like, "Oh, this seems really cool," and Egon's like, "No, I don't think this is worth going to." And he's like, "Well, actually, I think it is." But he's like, "No,
you're wrong.
This is really stupid.
It's for kids. What are you, stupid? Stupid big dummy. Stupid big dummy with your sexy hair and big muscles."
And ridiculous spray on tan.
Okay, in South America, there are a lot of like blonde people with dark skin. There are like, oh, man, like Argentina, like Brazil is like every skin tone and every like hair color is like present down there. You ever see like black people with red hair? It's down in like Argentina and like Brazil. There must have been a wave of Europeans like intermingling or something, or multiple waves or whatever.
There's a reason they all speak Spanish.
And except those Brazilians. Was there Portuguese?
Yeah.
Yes. Which they kind of came with the Spanish and were fighting because the Portuguese. Yeah.
Anyway. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bad scene all around, but you're right.
What better place for the scientists from Germany to escape to?
Long story short, basically
there's a lot of hot people.
Basically every major ancient or middle-aged nation of Europe invaded the rest of the world.
Yeah, fucked everything else up for everybody else.
Yeah, literally fucked everything else.
Correct. So
that's why you got redheads.
So yeah, you're right.
And Adrian.
Rude. So it's very funny because like you can tell this is their dynamic, because at first you'd be like, why are you putting up with this guy's weird bullshit about like getting mad about this being a child's thing to go to, and it's like, oh no, you're like, well, this is just Adrian, it's just how he is. I love him.
At this point, that's how they're
yeah,
because usually Adrian is really, oh no, hang on, like the more thoughtful
logical
one, more logical one, right? And Lucas is kind of like more fiery, and I like their relationship as Adrian and Lucas, but also as Cybersix and Lucas, because he's a big dude. Like he's like very big, he's like tall, and
upon rewatching, I couldn't remember what their jobs were, and I was like, are they cops? Is that what this is about? Is he a cop?
Here's the thing: if you just saw them, and this is your only episode,
in his trench coat and like taking on villains,
they look like cops.
I was like, oh, so he's gone from being Eddie Brock from Spider-Man to Harvey Bullock from Batman.
And the thing is, dude acts like a cop.
He does,
in the way that like there's crime going on, And the dude's like, not on my watch. And he just runs in.
Yeah.
And this is another part of the reason I like their dynamic. Here's the thing. Very early on, like episode 1, it shows him punching one of those Frankensteins. And like, again, huge dude, obviously works out, right? And the Ubermensch punches the Frankenstein and does nothing. And then this little, like, thin, like, girl, like, that weighs a third as much as him. Oh, and he gets the shit kicked out of him. Jumps up and, like, karate kicks one of these guys and sends him flying across the harbor, like 100 feet, like, into a building, and destroys him, right? So she is much stronger than him. And he wants so much to save her.
It's so true. We see this in this episode later on. We'll definitely have to route back to that, because it's exactly what happens. It's so cute.
So much. He never does, but he
no. What happens after this? Adrian stalks off like he is wont to do.
Yeah. Oh, and then it shows Jose shit talking Data 7, because he knows he understands English, and he's like, I'm gonna get your precious Cybersix here, and I'm gonna kill her right in front of you. And as he's like goose stepping, like getting his like,
he fully goose steps. We haven't talked about the fact that he goose steps everywhere.
So you remember / noticed that? How about you, Christopher?
Oh,
how about you with his hands behind his back, like straight leg, like the kid goose steps.
He does.
No, they don't call it that, and his arm isn't out. I think.
Yes,
but in the comic,
it breaches onto like Ministry of Silly Walks, so it's not quite as obvious. Like it looks like just exactly. It looks like a kid trying to be like wearing his big shoes,
and as a
trying
kid,
to be like his dad.
I thought that's what it was. But rewatching this, every time he's pacing and talking to his dad or delivering his monologue, he's Ministry of Silly Walks walking in a fashion similar to lifting that leg a little too high.
Yes, exactly.
I have never heard the term Ministry of Silly Walks in my life.
Wow, have I known you for so long, and I've never made you walk to Ministry of Silly Walks.
I don't know what that is.
That has the Ministry of Silly. It's a Monty Python sketch. We'll have to watch it later because it's very good.
Yes.
I'm sorry, my chair just sunk out of nowhere. It scared the shit out of me.
Oh, one time my cat jumped off of the lever. This is years ago when I had a kitty. Jumped off the lever of my is it lever or lever in English?
Either or.
Jumped off of it while I'm sitting on it, and then it went like just for a second, right? You know when you're dreaming or about to dream and you feel like you're falling asleep? Now imagine that in like real life, like suddenly just you fall straight down because of the chair.
Oh god, horrifying.
It was weird.
Zero buenos.
Yeah, so what ends up happening? You said Adrian is
he taunts,
sulking.
Yeah, Adrian goes and sulks. Oh yes, that's after so Jose taunts Shadowcat. No, Shadow
Panther.
Shadow Panther.
That's Shadowcat. Very different. Yes. Taunts Shadow Panther. And he gets all grumpus about it.
And then Egon is at like a Italian restaurant or something.
Yeah, it's where they're always there.
A lot of South American coffee shops are designed to literally look like Italian and French cafes. So good eye.
Yeah, I got like Italian restaurant.
That is exactly what the city is. It's the what is it?
Meridiana, I think is what
it's supposed to be. Buenos Aires.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Right, because it has the big giant angel statue in the middle of it instead of the big Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. By the way, people, we're talking about the 11th episode of Cybersix.
Oh yeah,
called The Greatest Show.
Yeah, so if you're
Meridiana.
Confused.
Oh, it is called The Greatest Show in Meridiana. Right.
Yeah.
I should have known that. I only found it because I was looking for pictures and I came across like all the pictures of Meridiana for the background. So
it's got a big Jesus.
Yes.
A big angel
instead
of
Yes.
So Egon's pouting in this Italian.
He's literally just sitting there pouting, like watching his clock.
He's like got a
His lunch.
coffee cup and he's like swirling it around, just staring
Stupid
into it.
little kid, I'm gonna beat him up. Adrian sees him and is like, "Hey, come on, let's go." And he's
Lucas sees him.
No, Lucas, and he's like, "You're stupid." And he's like, "Why would you want to go to that, you big stupid sexy dummy?" And he's like, "Come on, it'll be fun. It starts in like 20 minutes."
Yeah, Harvey Bullock is like trying to convince him. He's like, "Come on, let's go to this thing. Let's go to this thing." And Egon's like, "No, you can't." And he's like, "But no, let's go." And he's like, "But no, you can't. Trust me, please. For the love of God, just listen to me on this. You can't go." And he's like, "Well, fuck you."
Sounds like somebody woke up on the wrong side of the big boy bed. And Adrian freaks out and screams and knocks the coffee off.
Yeah, the whole like everyone turns and
I'm
looks.
like, hey, you're supposed to lay low as your alternate
Everyone turns
identity.
in this Italian restaurant and it is like, "Sacre bleu."
I was just going to say, and then says Sacre bleu. There's an homage to me using French earlier, even though it's Spanish. It was written in Spanish.
Yes.
And then they go about their decadent ways, and then it jumps to the next scene because Adrian's like, "Well, I'm gonna go by myself," and I'm like, "Good for you, man."
Yeah, I love a man who's like, "I'm gonna just go get myself a thing of popcorn and go to the circus."
Oh my god, he gets like a family size popcorn and like a 4-liter. And it's like bigger than the person in front of him, and he's like, "Excuse me, pardon me," and like
he's such a bumbling oaf. I love him so much.
I can't remember the shot exactly, but there's this when he's like sits down behind this guy, he like kind of like gestures to the guy like sitting in front of him, like, "Eh?" And the guy just ignores him, and then he just is like,
Yeah, he's getting like looks from everybody because he's awkward and
yeah.
The subtle details in all of the background, right? Like it feels like they're in a city.
Yes,
it's very. I should point. I love
the style, by the way.
Yeah, I really like the animation, and I really like the animation style, and like the character designs.
And there's lots of things where we are very picky. It is. It's got I don't know how to describe this.
It is kind of like it has a really good mesh of that like late 90s, early 2000s Teletoon
like
vibe,
the cell shaded vibe that's easier to animate.
But also has that very anime flavor to it. Like everything is over exaggerated in a way that is very like the way everybody runs and the dynamic jumps and like the like real harsh perspective that you get on them. That's not something you get in a lot of Western animation, but then there are some features to it, like the face shapes and some of the designs are a lot more Western.
Yeah, I was
dig it.
My what the thought that went through my head was that this was like 90s anime, like Ghost in the Shell style, Ninja Scroll style anime meets like 90s American comics.
Yeah.
It's like a melding of those two styles. Like particularly like image comics, like that style.
Yeah. I can't really think of what else it looks like. It's hard to say. Not really like anything.
Which, since it's a comic, like it's based on a comic from that era, like the art style kind of being inspired by those things would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yeah, definitely. From the bit I've seen of the comic, it seems to stay pretty true to the art of the comic.
I like it when animated series that are based on comics do that, when they try and keep basically try and make an animated version of that art style.
Yeah, totally.
And it's difficult too because like animation is way more difficult and expensive.
Yeah. Yes.
So to keep the style, it's like, but like all of these frames and like, like the budget for these were $360,000 per episode, and I'm like, fuck. Like,
that's insane.
I understand a lot of work went into it, but like now we know why it looks so damn good.
Well, yeah,
and that episode you downloaded, the torrent you got, was so clear. Like, you could never have got that on a CRT. Like, holy shit, was it good?
Yeah, this isn't available anywhere to watch legally, so I had to pirate it. But I pirated it from, and the copy that I pirated was a like 1080p Blu-ray rip, I think.
Yeah, I didn't know this
Yeah.
existed, and it looks phenomenal. The painted backgrounds, like when she's going through the city and there's like the moon, I'm like, that looks like it's painted. Like
Yeah.
like by hand, they have that as a painted backdrop.
Yeah.
That
Which was
that
also a big thing in anime, more so.
I've seen that more in anime.
that is also a like a painted background is expensive, but it's also having a static like painted background is cheaper than having like a fluid like constantly animated background. So that is like it looks really good, but it is a cost cutting measure.
Totally.
And
But
you can
yeah,
tell it
still
when she's
gorgeous.
standing in front of the moon monologuing.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I don't get to use my woman voice very often, so when I do,
I'm gonna
I talk
as
to
much as I
myself.
can. Yes. Speaking of incredible budgets, we go to the Cybersix getting into the circus.
Oh,
I think that's where we're at. About
Yep.
did I miss anything?
Everyone
Christopher, or
sat
is that where we're
down.
at?
She's infiltrating the circus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
they have
when Lucas insists that he's going, she decides, oh, I better suit up and like go and save the day because this is obviously a trap.
Mhm.
Well, and she knows it's a trap for her because it's like now introducing the new Black Panther,
Yeah.
C6, and she's like, really?
Yeah, with special guest C6. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Ugh.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
on the stupid thing.
So she was gonna go anyway. She just didn't want Lucas to go because she knew it might get like violent or that it was something bad was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Forgive me for forgetting details. I've slept a total of about 3 hours in the past 2 nights.
And I like when don't worry about
week.
it.
Yeah.
When Jose like introduces himself and takes a bow and all of these robotic monstrosities appear, instead of people being like, are y'all seeing this? They're like, oh, haha, sweet. And I'm like,
It's got big We're Back vibes.
I was gonna say, and it's like, except in We're Back, like the cute parts of the dinosaurs, we're like, oh, okay, yeah, I can get behind like these guys. But these are all monstrosities. Like those monkeys' teeth are shark teeth.
Yeah, it was kind of the shtick in We're Back and in this, where it's like you're not like you're there to see something a little horrifying, and that is kind of which is kind of funny, being that Adrian's like, it's a kids thing, it's a thing for kids, and it's like, no, it's a bad guy circus. Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant by We're Back. It's like the fright circus,
the Screw Eye circus.
Yeah, Professor Screw Eye. Anywho, yes, so she breaks in, and in a very interesting twist of Jose being competent, he gets a reflection of her up top and is actually like manages to catch her, which is wild.
Right. He's like, because he tries to get his doggos to sniff her out because he has a piece of her cape and he can't find her. And he's like, huh. I thought she was here, and he knows she's here.
She's broken in to see and has talked to Data 7. Is like, oh, it's okay, I'm gonna get you out, we'll figure it out. But then she hides up in the rafters, and that's when the F dogs,
the Fixie dogs,
when they show up, and yeah, that, and then so he's like, oh, I thought, and but then catches a glimpse above and is like,
he catches a glimpse of her above, crouched down in the rafters with a baseball bat, just ready to descend.
And he's like, not today, Fem Sting. And
yes, exactly.
Well, speaking of goth in the rafters,
yeah,
yes,
and he has this huge computer system here to run the robots,
with
right?
some mook running it
with just like some dude in a ponytail.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, in the 90s, you were a computer expert if you were a dude with a ponytail.
Yes.
You were either Steven Seagal or a hacker.
You were either
in between.
You were either a If you had a ponytail and glasses, you were a computer hacker. If you just had a
Yes.
ponytail and wore a suit, you were a henchman for a mobster.
Yes.
Eastern European henchman, right?
Yes. So true.
And if you wore a leather jacket and had a spray-on tan with a ponytail, you were Steven Seagal.
You were Steven Seagal. So in this we have the hacker who's there.
Quick sidebar. You know what I found out recently is that Steven Seagal has a daughter with the chick from Weird Science.
Wild.
Yeah,
like the OG TV show. Yeah.
No, not the TV show. The movie.
The movie?
Or sorry,
the original movie. Yeah, and she's like a plus size model.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
She got the looks from her mom and her size from her dad. Hell yeah. It's a good combo.
I think when Christopher mentioned that to me and shared like a picture or something like that, and it was like for when you need to be on the runway at 6 p.m. but you're
stop a train from exploding at
stop a train from exploding at
7 p.m.
Yes, very good.
This woman knows 7 ways to kill a man.
With her thighs.
With her thighs. And
what a way to go.
I feel like Cybersix knows. Wait, when she meets up with Data 7, she reaches between the bars and wraps her arms around Data 7 to hug him and then says, "I'll get you out later." Her shoulders are as wide as the panther because she embraces him, but she fit through the bars.
I think she kind of hugs like one arm through a bar and one arm through the
other. Let's just assume it's too big for the panther.
Yeah.
Also, it's a cartoon. Come on.
Exactly.
Animation.
Yeah.
There.
Well, and it's like she's super strong. Like, why couldn't she have just bent the bars, right? Data 7's super strong too.
Oh, these are tungsten steel.
Oh, of course.
Bars. Remember, spare no expense from Daddy Reichter.
Of course.
So evil dogs and robots attack her.
Yes, and she gets all gooped up by the spider bot,
right?
Which is the most disgusting spider goo. Like I didn't think there could be a worse robo spider than tarantulas, but this is one of them.
Yeah. So Tarantula Man goops her good, and her hat falls off, and she falls on the ground.
The worst sentence I've ever heard.
And so the woman in tight latex gets gooped by the tentacles, and the robotic tentacles. And he comes over to her, and at this point, I'm like, "What's your end game, dude? You can just like stab her."
Yeah.
And he leans down. He's like, "Huh, you're not getting out of this one, Cybersix." And she's all like, "Don't think you've won just yet, Jose." And I'm like, "Is there a weird like I don't have a mom, just a Nazi dad?"
I got something to say about that later.
Yep.
And by the way, if you're thinking that, Christopher, yes, he.
We'll get to
there's
that.
A complex. There's a complex on the overall show.
There is a bit near the end of the episode where I was like, the people behind this show knew exactly what they were doing.
So, as soon as that happened, I was like, "Oh, Christopher's gonna have something to say."
So they end up. He comes out again and is like, "Yeah, now we're having a battle between a robo squid and a robo lady." And it's like, okay, why is she a robo lady? Why are we doing this?
Immediately when the kid comes out and he's like, "Haha, now for my next trick."
Yeah.
Because like all of a sudden all the robots suddenly left and everyone's like, "Boo, like what happened to all the robots?"
They get summoned away
at the press of a button.
I gotta be honest, most of the circus stuff, it's a big old fight. I think it went on too long.
Lucas tries to help and he's like, "Hey, Cybersix," and he runs headlong into
He doesn't
battle.
find out because he doesn't know anything's going on until the cage shows up, because then he recognizes her.
The way for some reason
the robots.
All my so he gets caught by two. He gets caught by two. He gets caught by two robots who seemingly just want to arrest him. They're not animal robots. These are like normal ones that like pick him up by the arms. Yeah. And he gets away somehow. Yada yada yada. There's a big fight, right?
Yeah, they just throw him into the back. They just carry him to the back and throw him down, and he's like,
time to fight.
I
And Christopher, how does Lucas help Cybersix as she's about to get killed by
He's in the room. He's in the room with the computer console that is apparently like the main server or something that controls these things. And he goes over and starts like, I can't remember if there was a dude there that he takes out or not, but
I think he does. Yeah.
yeah.
There's a two-headed snake robot fighting him, and the snake accidentally hits ponytail dude or whatever.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah. So he goes over to the computer console and starts typing stuff, and it doesn't work. And he's like, damn it, it's locked. And then he looks over to the side and sees a fucking power cord plugged into a wall and goes and unplugs it, which causes all the robots to deactivate right away. And he's like, huh, only a true genius could figure out that the simplest solution is the correct
the
one.
best solution is the simplest.
So good. Oh, I loved it. It's genius. It's so good.
He had lit out Data 7, and he's like, oh, like, how do we use this thing? And there's a scene where he's trying to use the computer, and it's in like DOS mode or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you know what to do? And he like turns to the panther, and the cat just like fucking like looks at him.
Like,
and I half expected Data 7 to be like, I'm in. Like with his cat paws or like what, because he's extremely intelligent, right? It's just in the body of a panther, right? And I'm like, this is amazing. Can we get more duos of this big cat and Lucas? Like just smack, like that's how to use your head, and then like headbutting somebody kind of humor, because I love that.
Oh,
but I guess what happened is when he unplugged it, all that did was take away the autonomy. Sorry, take away the remote controls of it.
Well, they power down right away, and little dude Jose is like, good thing he pulls out this remote control. He's like, good thing I had a contingency plan, and he turns a dial, and then the robots come back on, but for some reason they turn on him.
Which is foreshadowed in the beginning.
I didn't really understand why.
Okay, so here's why. They are autonomous, but they don't show discretion. They attack everything like equally, as is evidenced in the opening scene with him and his dad.
Right.
Yeah.
But when they're like connected to the Matrix with ponytail dude,
his dad, Professor Von Braun.
Yeah.
Yes.
When they're connected to that, and then he can remotely control them without them being hostile.
But the remote control isn't as strong of an overpowering technique as the big console.
So the original issue,
and so it just turns them on. But
okay, so it's like the helmets that they would put on the dinosaurs in Dino Riders. So
yes, so many dino references.
To make them like docile, and so they
you
could
get it.
ride them around.
And that's why their eyes turn red.
Fuck, I just referenced Dino Riders. Who the fuck remembers Dino Riders?
Well, there's your next episode.
I only know it from you.
Yeah.
We need to do like a block of shows that's like just like cartoons from like 1990 or something like that.
And call it Dino DNA.
And have it be like Dino Riders, Denver the Last Dinosaur.
Dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs?
Or we could just have a dinosaurs block. Dinosaurs and Cadillacs and dinosaurs. There we fucking go.
So good.
Call it like Saturday morning dinos.
Oh.
I did write a parody today of Barbie Girl, except about velociraptors.
Amazing.
It began with, I'm a clever girl in a clever world. Life's fantastic. It's Jurassic.
It's Jurassic.
You have Amy from Dork Tales to thank for that first line. I was like, well, but now I have to write this.
That's great.
Anyway. Yes. So the things turn. How does she get out?
Well, what ends up happening is they all turn and start attacking everyone indiscriminately.
Yeah.
And this, not everything before, not the villainous shit, like having a damsel like tied up And it's like, now I'm going to watch all these bystanders watch me kill this woman.
Yeah.
Um,
it's a robo lady. It's fine.
Oh yeah, it's
she's
fine.
a robot.
Yeah. And now they start running after the monkeys attack them. It's always after the monkeys attack. And they start attacking everyone indiscriminately, and the octopus stops attacking Cybersix and then busts out of the cage, and that's how she gets free.
Oh, right, the cage busts, yes.
There is also a giant enemy crab.
There's a giant enemy crab that gives birth to unicycle tiny little crabs. So like Christopher said, there's just this big giant fight scene, but we're just going to talk about the highlights of this big giant fight scene.
So the giant enemy crab spits out these like little unicycle like mini crabs.
They're on unicycles and they're
who go over and start attacking Shadow Panther, and Shadow Panther is just like looking like, huh? And as they're like chipping away at trying to chip away at him, they're not hurting him, but all I'm thinking in my head is crab battle. Crab battle.
Son of a bitch. Crab. Meryl. Crab battle.
So good.
And then Shadow Panther just like looks like, what the fuck are these things? And then just stomps on them.
And then they like wheel away.
Yes.
Which is funny because these little things that literally couldn't even hurt Data 7. By the way, Data 7, Cybersix have like superhuman strength, agility, and endurance. So they can be thrown through concrete walls and
be fine.
There's this one really cool shot where Cybersix takes out, I think it's like one of the octopus monsters or something, where she like leaps into the air and does this like flying like kick and like jabs one of her high heels like right into its eye.
Yeah, so a lot of the time we run into this in Lasercomb is, and then there's a fight scene. But unless you turn into huge nerds and like take out your like miniatures and then like, oh, and then it punches him in like this, and you can't narrate that. But that being said, these aren't just samey. The fight scenes in this are choreographed and they show what's going on, and the Data 7 stops fighting the two-headed snake to go help Cybersix, and Cybersix is fighting dogs, like trying to eat her, and like the camera goes inside the dog's mouth and it shows like she's like pulling it away from her neck. Like you can see the budget like, in the fight scenes.
There's a very, I believe it is Christopher's background actually, there's a very cute scene where Lucas gets tossed or whatever,
and almost gets knocked out.
Yeah, and so Cybersix goes over to like make sure that he's okay, and they have this very cute moment where it's like, ooh, are they gonna kiss? Oh my goodness. But then Lucas is like and Cybersix makes a real like cute flirty remark before there it is, makes a real cute flirty remark.
Hard to do this when it's mirrored. Okay, there we go.
But Lucas is, like behind you basically, and it was just like a whole bunch of these robots coming up behind her, and then she kicks all their asses and then gets a hose and just like
when you think the episode should be over, there's another 5 minutes of fight scene.
Where did the tiger come from? And there's all of a sudden a tiger?
And they take out the robots basically in the same way they take out the gremlins at the end of Gremlins 2 by using a fucking fire hose and electrocuting them.
Yes,
spoilers, jeez.
And then they light on fire, and then they escape. Oh, wait, I think we missed the part that you guys were probably talking about of Cybersix and Jose.
Real quick, speaking of Gremlins 2, Cal, guess what won the poll for the next commentary track?
Gremlins 2.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Amazing.
But as to what you were saying, Lucas was when he was knocked out, and he's like, Cybersix. I've always wanted to tell you that I love right? And then he sees and he's like, there's a bunch of robots behind you, kicks their ass, and then she's like, oh, sorry, you were saying something? Right?
Yeah.
But like her being the dominant one and the stronger one is like one thing, but like, oh man, just
well, and that dynamic does happen quite a bit now, where you do have the like
but not
the big
90...
strong doofy man. Yeah, this was pretty new, and it's good. I
dig it,
the back and forth. But yes, the point
they save Jose.
They save and Jose's like
He's
hiding
hiding behind
behind him.
Cybersix, and he's like, "Mommy, they turned on me. Get him." He doesn't actually say that, but I mean, he's
He says
holding onto her
Cybersix,
cape.
but yeah,
Cybersix, get him.
yeah, exactly.
And then the little crabs come up and they're like cornering him.
Is that the part you
And
were talking about, Christopher? That's very like mommy.
no, there's a part where she kicks all of them butt, and as he's like gonna get his like butt kicked by them, she's like, she pulls the last of the goo off of her arm, and she's like, "Now, Jose, be a good boy and clean up your toys and go
But
to
right
your
before
room."
she does that, she stomps like one of her heels onto the ground, onto one of these like crab things, and crushes it. And like the camera's like kind of looking up at her, and she's like, "Now, Jose, be a good boy and clean up your toys."
That's what it is. And
And I was
how do you feel about that?
I was like right there. I'm like, this was someone like writing their fetish.
Yeah, exactly.
But in a way, me like growing up seeing like this and all the other like goth noir and like shows, it's like, I'm starting to see why where I was influenced. Like Extreme Ghostbusters,
Right.
goth chicken, that Cybersix. There was a goth movement in the 90s that affected a lot of 90s folks. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
To this very day.
To this very day.
Truly.
There's like a Gen Z goth wave that I've
There's
noticed.
Oh, it's
Gen
huge
Z
on
is just
Instagram.
wearing the like early aughts, late 90s clothes. So
And that's what's weird to me. It's just like the new goth is wearing My Chemical Romance t-shirts.
It's like how we wore bell bottoms, but like we wore flares, not bell bottoms. It's that like 20-30 year cycle that happens.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember it when everyone was doing the flares.
Christa, do you remember the time when we were at Red Robin one day, and we like look out and there's a bunch of like teenagers, like maybe like 13 or 14 young teenagers, like all just chilling out on the grass, and we're looking and we're like, these straight up just like look like characters out of fucking Mallrats.
Yes.
Like they were dressed exactly like the characters in Mallrats.
They
like
had the plaids, with the big baggy pants.
Young? Yeah, these kids were like maybe like 14. And like they had like the plain like white t-shirts with like the button-up shirt over, and like it's like straight up like they looked like characters out of Mallrats, like people out of 1995.
Meanwhile, other people their same age will be dressed like grandma librarians. There's such a huge range. Like there's zero fucks given anymore, and it's like, man, why didn't I grow up in that in this era?
When I could just wear whatever the hell I want. That's why I wear whatever the hell I want now.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the spirit.
Yes. And yes, so Mommy Dom, very much so.
You've been a naughty boy. Clean up your toys and go to your room. Crunch.
Exactly.
And he's like, I'm telling Dad, and he runs away.
How does he ends up like up on like the trapeze
monkeys
peak? Oh, they fly him up there, don't they?
Yeah.
But then the whole place starts burning down. I do like you were saying how like it's all choreographed and you see how everything is defeated and all that kind of stuff. I do appreciate that, like you see all these animals like lighting on fire and exploding
and like in pain, and I'm like, why is the fire scene so long?
That's a little worrisome. But then the octopus has a tentacle and crushes the crab.
Yeah.
Like one she didn't even do that.
One of the last shots is one of the like the spider monster like crawls up the side of the tent and like catches fire and then just like falls to the ground and explodes when it hits the ground.
Yeah. And
It's
man, they
good.
really wanted to blow these freaking robots up. And then as the whole circus is like crumbling, the camera zooms out, shows like his icon like fall, and it zooms out to the gigantic angel statue with the moon behind it.
Yep.
And Lucas
There's a lot of
and
good landscape.
Lucas, Data 7, and Cybersix up there. And I'm like, how'd he get up there? Oh, she carried him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of shot where I'm just expecting to see like Spawn, Daredevil, and Eric Draven just like wrapped
Just hanging
around,
out.
just like wrapped with their each with their arms around like a different pillar of the
Yes.
cathedral.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, Spawn's
Okay,
cape like
you know how they
flowing.
do you know how they do those like composite photos where it's like all the like 50s stars in a diner? I think we
Yeah.
need that. We need that
Oh,
art.
Cybersix,
Yeah,
Draven,
yeah, Eric, yeah.
Spawn.
Spawn,
Who else is
Daredevil.
a Daredevil? Who else is like
Batman.
a goth noir? Batman's always,
Batman's
yeah,
not goth
especially,
noir, but that's what he
but he
does, right?
is
Like,
though. But he also is. Like he
yeah.
was kind of OG goth noir.
The shadow. We
The,
put the
Oh my
shadow
god,
up
the
there.
shadow. Yes, yes.
who
100%.
else isn't? Yeah, and it's yeah, because the shadow has a very iconic silhouette.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe not for younger people.
No,
Well, that
absolutely
it
not.
doesn't. We don't
For
care about
younger
younger
people.
peeps.
Yeah.
We don't care. You're not watching Cybersix because you're 18.
It's like when you see those posters and you're like, oh, I know everybody except that. Who's that? And then you're interested in like trying to figure out
That's a
who
good
it
point.
is.
Well,
That's
see,
a good
people
point.
our age know who the Shadow is because of that Alec Baldwin movie, 100%. Just like people our age know who Dick Tracy is because of that Dick
Yes.
Tracy movie.
Yeah.
My dad gave me like trading cards from the Shadow from the 60s.
Wow.
So that's how I knew who the Shadow was, because of like
That's
the
crazy.
original artwork, cover art for the comics were on cards.
Sorry, you know who else we should put in this like composite image?
Who?
Fucking Nightman with his saxophone.
Oh my god. Yeah, not Nightman in his with like the glowing red eye. Nightman with the Christa, you're aware of the existence of Nightman?
Vaguely aware.
Let us send you the intro.
Please do.
I'll link you to the intro to Nightman.
Okay.
It's a show that I remember being on Space in like the year 99 or 2000. I never watched it,
but it
we,
has
we
the budget and feel of like a movie of a TV show from 84.
Oh
it's
no.
like the proto CW basically.
Yes, I'm here for it, please.
It was good, bad, but not something where I want to go and watch them all.
Right.
Fair.
But the intro, in the very least. What a wild,
okay,
wild
just quick
intro.
sidebar. The intro to Cybersix?
Here in my arms.
The second
slaps.
it fucking started, I was like, oh my god, I love this show so much.
When my partner, but without us even having talked about it before, she was like working or doing something on a computer, and I just heard her for the first time like singing the intro to Cybersix. I was like, I knew it.
It's so good. Yes, incredible. Very, very good. Anywho, does anything else? Do they do anything when they're up on the top?
There's one thing when they're up there and watching like the city. There's I have it paused right now, and Lucas is like smiling like this with his hands, and Cybersix is behind him as they're like watching the city burns, and it almost makes them look like villains for a second. And I'm gonna screenshot that.
Yeah, you left a child in there to burn.
They saw him run away before they left.
Oh, right.
So, but he's like, oh,
it's like
man.
when G.I. Joe shoots down a Cobra ship, but you always see a Cobra trooper parachuting after the ship explodes.
Yeah. He's like, oh man, Adrian's never gonna believe this. And then Cybersix is like, I think he might surprise you.
Yeah.
Turns to the camera.
Lucas,
No.
how don't you know? How haven't you? We're 11 episodes in. How haven't you figured this out yet?
Hey man, makeup, heels, and change the height, the hair flip. What's binding?
Yeah.
The baggy dress shirt that Adrian wears.
Yeah. I love his style, by the way. I would dress like Adrian every day if I could. If I was that lanky, oh yeah, absolutely.
I definitely got
icon.
I definitely got like modern like gender fluid look.
Well, indeed,
from from his look.
And the way Adrian acts too, because they don't want any relationships, they put off the advances of that redhead. They're very ace feeling, and agendered. They feel very non-binary and like ace. Like they don't flirt.
Because even their romance with Lucas is very much of like, it has come from a place of companionship, and it has come from this place of like love and mutual respect and care of like, they take care of each other. Like I think they meet because, or like, well, yeah, they meet because like she's hurt, and like he tries to help her,
and then he gets hurt, and she,
exactly. So they have a very good, like, beautiful supportive relationship, and it does come from that place of like care and love and everything before it gets to a point of like, oh, they kissed. And that's kind of just a shorthand of, see, they have a romantic relationship, but we're all just hoping for it. But you're right, like it is very, and again, that comes along with her, like the way that she looks is she's very chaste despite having this very like kind of sexy figure. She doesn't, it's not about that, right?
No, she's dressing like that for herself.
Exactly.
Like if somebody sees you like jumping rooftop to rooftop fighting Frankensteins at 3 a.m., you want to look like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do have one question about her outfit when she's in Cybersix mode.
Yeah.
How does her hat not fall off?
It does.
Solid question.
It does falls off this episode.
Oh. Well, I missed that.
Yeah. It doesn't very when she's jumping rooftop to rooftop though. Good question. I don't know.
Jumping.
I just imagine she does that thing that you see guys in like movies set in like the 30s and 40s with the fedoras. They always put like their right hand on top of their head and like put their head down.
And when you see them running down the street, holding their hat.
Yeah.
Taxi.
Yeah, 100%.
Stop, I see. Follow that car and step on it.
Yes, 100%.
But sir, it's gridlock traffic. You were faster running.
Yeah, pretty much.
Take a shortcut. You can cross the sidewalk there and head through the park. See?
Cross the sidewalk.
I love this show very, very much.
But sir, there's no roadway through the park. Go through the park, damn it.
Now who's the villain?
That's the beginning of the first Mafia movie. Two mafioso get in your cab and say, hey, like, step on it. As like dudes with guns are chasing them, and they're like, or else. The boss is gonna be real mad, see? And that's how the main character. That's weird. You just did the intro for the first.
That is a movie.
Mafia game.
Oh.
What's that? It's Tom Cruise and
you said the Mafia game, right? The first Mafia game. It's probably an homage to an old Mafia movie.
Probably.
And like just a bit that I know but don't know where it's from.
It's got to be from something.
Oh, absolutely.
But anyway, let's jump to Cybersix before we do our category. I wanted to ask Christa, do you remember how you discovered the show? Had you seen all the episodes? Like, how was it important to you?
I think YTV was what it was on, right?
It's Teletoon.
Teletoon.
Oh, it was on Teletoon. Okay, so yes, it would have been on TV. Yeah, of course. My brother watched it a lot. I watched it a lot. It was just TV was always on in our house. So any TV, I was never a person, unlike Christopher, and we've talked about this. Unlike Christopher, I never sought out television. I watched TV when it was on. So I have probably seen a number of Cybersix episodes, but I don't know if I've seen all of them. Because like I said, I did actually watch, I think the first like three or four episodes after I watched the one we were supposed to watch, because I was like, I need more of this.
Right.
It was very, very good. But I was kind of going, I remember this character, but I don't remember this episode. So it's very possible that I just don't super remember it. But again, like it's one of those shows, like the way that my memory works is I don't really remember things, I remember feelings. And I just remember loving this show and thinking it was so cool and so weird.
Every few years revisiting the intro.
Exactly. Yes. And every time I get reminded of it, I'm like, oh my God, I love it so much. I saw someone had art of it at Fan Expo this year.
Hell yes.
I got a keychain that's like Cybersix jumping, and then like her cape is the night sky, and then Data 7's following her. It's sick. It's so good.
Nice.
Yeah. But yes, no, I it's one of those shows that, yeah, like it's you forget about it for a long time, but then you bring it up and it's just like all these feelings of how much you loved it.
Right.
So here on the Lasercomb podcast, we like to ask one another a cardinal question, if you will. And that is, you just caught a random episode of Cybersix. Would you tune in next week?
Christa?
Yes, Christa.
Based on this episode, I'd like to say yes, but it's a little like there was nothing that was overarching story. There was nothing to really draw you in. So I don't know if I would, unfortunately, based on this episode.
The tried and true, oh, you just landed on a bad episode.
We hear that a lot, especially from patrons when we don't like shows that they've pitched us.
Well, and this is like coming from someone who loves this show. I think if this was the only one, I wouldn't have been like, I have to watch more of this. I was like that now because I remembered how much I loved the show, and that episode just didn't scratch the itch.
And there is
also
no offense,
plot. No offense to the patrons. We love you.
Yes, exactly.
And there is an overarching plot and a resolution, like when she saves Data 7 for the first time, when her relationship progresses with Lucas. Like there was plot happening, but it's also,
it wasn't just
episodic to some degree, and this is a throwaway episodic standalone one.
So what about you, Cal? Would you tune in next week?
Oh yeah. Looking at this through the lens of like young me, you had me at like, you've been a bad boy, put your toys away. But just like, I've never seen like a hero like this. I've never seen like the flipped, like, oh, she could be like powerful and the one that saves him, even though he's the big, like, strong guy or whatever, right? Like, you can be feminine and powerful, and there's like her brother's like a panther, and there's like a little kid that like makes robots and then ends up running away, and his schemes are like foiled. Yeah. Like, there was actually nothing that was like really better than this, like on like at the time, right? But again, I was one of those kids where it's like, even though I might have like really liked a show, it's whenever I see it, I would go, oh sweet, this show.
Right.
So yeah, I would tune in next week. How about you, Siege?
No,
not
at all.
The robots didn't do it for you? How about her crushing the
I don't.
How about the cross-dressing?
I like the art style. The voice acting's pretty good. But here's the problem. I found the villain annoying. I've never liked kid villains, even when I was a kid. I would have found and like when this show aired in over the course of like a month and a half in 1999. I was 14 when this was on. I would have found this villain extraordinarily annoying. Probably even more annoying than I do now. Now I'm kind of just like, well, whatever.
But your friend Scott McNeil voice acts as one of the characters.
I looked that up. Actually, no, it isn't him.
Oh, it isn't?
No, I thought it was.
So they lied.
So IMDb is wrong?
He's
IMDb has him as Data 7.
The Panther.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the wiki does too.
Oh.
Scott McNeil is Data 7.
Oh, interesting. Because
it's just a very weird thing.
Because I thought maybe it was him, but like his name isn't even in the credits at the end of the episode.
Maybe he didn't do enough snarls
maybe
in this episode.
In that one.
Right.
Well, and the woman, speaking of Ghost in the Shell, I think the woman that voices Cybersix also does a bunch of voices in Ghost in the Shell.
Standalone Complex.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, there was a few. Oh, there was a few that she had listed, I think.
That's where I recognize the name.
Yeah.
Does different characters and Friendship is Magic too?
Yes.
Oh.
When I was looking for my background, there is art of Pinkie Pie as Cybersix.
That's pretty cool.
It's so good.
Also, the battle goes on too long. Battle. It goes way.
Does.
Way,
I mean,
way,
it
way
is
too
cool,
long.
but like when you think it's over, there's another it feels like there's another 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh yeah, we kicked their butt.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then she grabs a hose, and it's like.
And that even plays more into the fact of like, this must have been a filler episode, because like there's no real central storyline to it. The scenes seem to go on for way too long.
Yeah, I'll give it that. The resolution to the plot is the dude unplugging the computer, and he's like, "Freaking nerds."
I loved that. That was
that's good.
I loved it so much. But yes,
Yeah,
I think you did get the classic. This wasn't the best episode.
Yeah. This is all I can judge it on. I have no nostalgia for the show. There are things I like about it, and I've mentioned the things that I like about it, but overall, annoying villain and
excuse me.
The climactic battle of the episode, which takes up like the latter 2/3 when it should have only taken up maybe the last third
10
or
minutes
last quarter.
Or 5.
Yeah. So no, unfortunately, I would not tune in next week.
How dare.
And that was episode 63 of the Lasercomb podcast. Best way to support the show is to go to patreon.com/lasercomb, LAZORCOMB. We're at the single $5 tier that we have affectionately named the Gary tier. You get access to all sorts of bonus exclusive content, like our weekly, well, we haven't been great about putting that out weekly as of late, but we're coming back, damn it. Our exclusive show, the Super Lasercomb Patreon Super Show, and also commentary tracks and a bunch of archival content. And you get to pick a show for us to review a random episode of on this very podcast. So if you want to get in on that, go to patreon.com/lasercomb. Follow me on Twitter. I am at Lasercomb, spelled the same way. Cal, you are at?
I am at NeoKal, NEO_KAL on Twitter and the TikToks and I don't know, whatever else is important. Except Xbox Live. I'll get you, that one dude in Japan.
When you're big in Japan, tonight, big in Japan. Tonight. Actual song. It's a song from the 80s. It's a pretty good song, too. It's by a band. It's like a synthwave song by a band called Alphaville.
Oh, you've shared that with me, yeah.
maybe I'll put it at the end of this episode. Big thanks to Christa for being on the show again after so long. Where can people find you?
Hello. You can find me mostly on TikTok, and I am technically on Instagram, but you can find me there as Chahista FX, CHAHISTA FX. You can find me there, but mostly you can find me over on Twitch and YouTube at twitch.tv/dorktales, tales like the story, not the appendage, and youtube.com/dorktales. I am not in many of their current running shows, but I do run one of our Patreon exclusive shows, a Strixhaven, a Curriculum of Chaos, which has just become a CW dating sim, and it's incredible, and I love it. And you can also find Cal over there sometimes.
You know what? Maybe I should start telling people that I'm there too. I'm in a regular week to week.
You're there quite regularly. We also did a charity game together for in support of I believe it's now called the Salal Sexual Violence Support Center, which is a crisis center in Vancouver, BC. That's an incredible organization, and we every year do a thing called Streaming for Survivors in support of them. And we did a ridiculous game where we played through a bunch of silly TV shows, and Cal got to be the Undertaker.
Nice.
I got to be the Undertaker.
You got to do the eye thing.
You did.
Yeah, the chat said, "Oh wow, Cal can do that," and I was like, "I've never tried, but I
Apparently.
did." My hair was like down.
I can do it too.
It was it was very good.
We
recreated the Hell in a Cell Mankind versus
1998.
Yeah.
Except I switched it up because I don't like Jerry Lawler, so I decided that the two commentators were Jim Ross and Paul Heyman.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
But and then Kelly didn't know who Jim Ross was, and he was supposed to be Jim Ross. He's like, "Who's Jim Ross?" We're like, nice Texan who's very enthusiastic about everything, gives out random facts, and sell your barbecue sauce."
And he's on the good. He's
the good guy.
And has been was long, like for decades now, has been in support of women's wrestling.
Exactly. Yes.
And you know what? Even though he didn't know who he was, it's, "Oh my God, that's despicable behavior." And I was like, "Yeah, that's."
He did a pretty good Jim Ross for not knowing who Jim Ross was, but he's also from Kansas and knows a lot of Texans. So like,
that's fair.
I was like, polite Texan, go.
Fun fact: me and Jim Ross share a birthday.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Not the same year, obviously, but we're both born on January 3rd.
Amazing.
Not the same year, fortunately.
But yes, if you like actual play Dungeons and Dragons and different tabletop games, you can come check out Dork Tales, and you can see Cal be an elf. Yeah. a very good elf. It's I still only watched the first episode, but you're
Speaking
so good
of gender
at it. It's
fluid,
so funny.
Yeah, my
Yes.
gender is elf on there, and like very specifically, the character is non-binary. Is no, I guess you could say that that's the right term, but like their pronouns are any in the wiki. Yeah, not like
I love
like
Arcturus.
yeah, and oh no, it's been interesting, like playing like that character, and I dig it.
Yes.
I should harness more Cybersix energy for Orange Heroes.
Oh my God, yes, bring in the Cybersix energy. Do it. Amazing. Yes, but yeah, that's where you can find me, and thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun. I love talking bullshit about TV shows.
And also, you bring highbrow. You brought
some
highbrow
you did
analysis into this. Thank you.
Much more than we've ever had on the show.
Well,
usually we're just like, anyways, Ravage,
cutiness.
Special Operative Ravage, gets beat by Robo Octo, and Jose
Manimal turns into an eagle and like flies off the rooftop, chasing the bad guys in the car who are driving away for some reason.
And then Sting descends from the rafters of the baseball bat.
Well, my face hurts from laughing so much, so that's a good sign.
We will be back. Speaking of faces hurting, we will be back next week with episode 64, Nintendo 64 of the Lasercomb Podcast, where we're going to be finishing off our Rip in Peace Teletoon programming block with a show that's actually coming back in a new resurrected form. And when it inevitably gets canceled after one season, we can review that too. It's a show called Clone High.
Yes!
Clone High is coming back?
Yeah, to HBO Max. It's coming back soon.
They kept threatening, and they finally did it.
It's coming back soon too, like this year. Like there's a trailer out for it and everything. I'm pretty sure. I saw screenshots of it.
One of the things, if anybody's been watching a lot of these episodes with Siege and I, one of the things I bug him about is undergrads in Clone High.
Yeah, that's why I thought this would be perfect.
That's perfect.
So to figure out which episode of Clone High we're going to be watching, it's
Jack Black or Tom Green episode.
much like Cybersix.
Gandhi is ADD. Don't tell Paul Revere.
A disease with initials. That's the worst kind.
It also only lasted 13 episodes, so I'm going to go to the number generator. not
tell
hit screen
Paul
share
Revere.
because that's been making my computer explode when I've been trying to do that.
Zoom doesn't like it
few months.
anymore.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah, it doesn't make my computer explode. Just it makes Zoom crash for the past few months now. Don't know why. Anyway, so one random number between 1 and 13, and here we go. And chamomile.
Which
the
one is
episode?
this? Which episode is this?
Episode 1. We landed on episode 1.
Really?
Oh, you know what? Have you seen this?
Have I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch this back in the day. It
okay.
aired...
I was gonna say, for someone who's never seen it, then you would have loved episode 1.
No, yeah, it aired either before or after undergrads, so I would just watch them both at like 10 p.m. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So episode 1 of Clone High is Escape to Beer Mountain, A Rope of Sand. Guest stars Michael J. Fox as Gandhi's remaining kidney.
Uh-huh.
Andy Dick as Van Gogh, and Donald Faison from Scrubs as George Washington Carver.
Right.
I'd shake a hand, but peanut toms.
Yeah, but peanut toms.
We'll be back on the next episode of the Lasercomb podcast with that. And until that, I've been The Siege, one of your hosts.
And I am your other host, NeoCal.
And I'm Christa. Ding.
Thanks for listening. We will Cyber 69 you next week.
You can't make those promises.
Respectfully. If you consent. Christopher's sitting there like the meme with the kid holding his breath, like with the vein on him, the high school kid, just like, I can use that joke now.
Yeah, pretty much. Bye-bye.